All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Robert McCammon's first ever novel, Baal, or Baal, or Baal. I don't know how you say it. It's spelled, as you can see, Baal. I am just going to say Baal, throughout the rest of the video. If I'm wrong, type in the comments that I'm wrong. I know you will. I know you will. Anyway, this book came out in 1978. McCammon's first ever novel. He called it his angry young man novel, where in his life he felt like he had no control over anything in his life, his job, his relationships, and so he started typing out this book, and all of his angry young man angst was channeled into this book, and it just sort of became like this hopeless sort of fantasy that he worked out all of his issues. Rather than go to a therapist, you should write a novel. I can attest to this. You can spew out all of your emotions and problems onto the written page, and you will be a healthy individual. Anyway, the cover, you know how much I love cover illustration and graphic design, so let's review the cover first. This looks like a book that came right out in 1978. I love the cover design. Absolutely love it. It was painted by an illustrator named Jim Warren, who I've actually met. Jim Warren. I met him at the Writers of the Future contest in Hollywood, California. That's a story for another video. Actually, I did a story of that. There's a video of me talking about the Writers of the Future contest on my channel. You can find it if you care to. Anyway, got this great embossed, gold embossed Baal. Same with the pink embossed Robert McCammon. And then everything on here is like embossed. It's like it's got just like a great feel to it. And then on the backside, it just looks like this book looks like it stepped right out of the 1970s and placed itself on my shelf beautifully. Love it, love it. I've never read this. I collect all the Robert McCammon novels, except for the longest time, I never had his first three, Baal, Bethany's Sin, or Night Boat. I've never had those. I just did find some mint condition copies on eBay. That's why I'm going to be reviewing all three of those really soon, starting with this one. In fact, I will just go ahead and show you my entire Robert McCammon collection up here. Right there and right there. You can see them all. I have met Robert McCammon on several occasions, and he has signed my books. He signed my entire collection pretty much. So you know I name drop like a motherfucker, and whenever I get books signed, I show them off on the videos, and my entire McCammon collection is signed. So there is that. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about this book now. In fact, I'm going to talk a lot about it, and I'm just going to read the back of it to begin with. Baal, from the seething cauldron of the Middle East, his followers burst forth in unholy fury. He is the foul seed of evil, the dark prophet who sees what is and creates what will always be. Across the earth he spreads his fiendish blasphemy, unleashing his holocaust, proclaims himself Messiah, but he is Baal, the prince of demons. Fear him. He will never be destroyed. So this book opens up with Mary Kate, a young woman, attacked in an alleyway by a dark stranger wearing wing-tipped boots. In fact, she's raped. Now, her husband, Joseph, is alarmed by this, and the cops are investigating this. And first of all, the first cop that he talks to uses the N-word, which is a little shocking. You know, you don't see that in modern day books, but, you know, back in 1978, apparently the cops in novels could just say it. I would never write it nowadays, and I'm sure McCammon wouldn't either, but back in the day. So what happens is Mary Kate is raped, everywhere that the rapist touched her, her skin was burned. She wants to keep the baby. And her husband is like, "What, are you crazy?" And she ends up keeping the baby, much to her husband Joe isn't digging it. He's not digging it at all. They named the baby Jeffrey. And Joe is handling it poorly. The husband is handling it poorly. Why would you want this baby that was conceived out of rape? But it's the situation, and I'll just say all this stuff happens within the first 20 pages or so, and one of the parents, I won't say which, husband or wife, goes crazy, kills the other, and ends up in prison, and the baby Jeffrey has to go to an orphanage. Now, now we jump a little bit in time to when Jeffrey's a little bit older of a kid, like maybe 7, 8, 9 years old, and he is a big, huge problem for this orphanage. He doesn't want to be known as Jeffrey. He says, "My name is Baal. My name is Baal. You must call me Baal. That is my name." And the priests and the nuns are kind of like, "This kid is weird as fuck." And, his psychiatrist is kind of like, well, he was born out of rape. One of his parents is a murderer. The other one's in prison. He's just... he doesn't want to be a part of the religion. That the orphanage is a religious orphanage. He does Baal, Jeffrey/Baal is like, "I don't want any part of that. In fact, I worship Hitler." That's a problem. And the people in the orphanages are like, "This kid is into Hitler." And I like how on the back cover they use the word Holocaust. He unleashes a Holocaust because he does become obsessed with Hitler, which never goes well. Never, ever goes well. In fact, he starts talking about how all the other kids in the orphanages are his little minions. In fact, he gets quite a few of the little kids to be his minions and to do dastardly little things. Well, as you can see, this is the beginnings of Baal's life, and he does grow up and to become the savage, unnatural, wickedly intelligent monster that the back book described. And it's a pretty fun book to read. Now, Robert McCammon's writing you can sense that this is his first book, and there's just moments of absolute brilliance. Unlike, like in Boy's Life, which is a book that I recommend everybody read. In Boy's Life, every sentence is a work of brilliance. In this one, there's a lot of sentences that are works of brilliance, but you can tell that it is a first novel, but it's a great first novel. It's just absolutely engaging, and it's just weird and quirky, and it fits the 1978 horror genre, just whole feel of what we're hoping for and what we were hoping to get, and I got exactly what I was hoping to get. It was just a great little fast horror novel read. It was just a popcorn book, and I could see it being made into a movie in 78 and just being wacky horror, 80s horror, it's just cool. It is absolutely cool. What do I give it? If I was to give this a 10 out of 10, which I have on my channel, I've reviewed probably a handful of McCammon's other novels. If that's a 10 out of 10, if Boy's Life is a 10 out of 10, this is probably a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's that fucking good. It's really good.